Very good evening. Now, I've got a couple of points which I'm going to put to you. First one is the big one, which is elaborated from my video earlier today, where I was watching the Three Amigos fellow YouTube channel with Steve Wraith, Mitch and Steve Hasty, and of course George. And here's the thing for you, right? It was said in the Times. That's what I was trying to find. The APT and associated stuff was deemed unlawful and void. Now, what the Richard Masters and his cronies are trying to suss out is the new regulations that they put in November, if they would stick. Well, I don't think that should be the case. If the rules which were looked at by an independent panel were found to be null and void, well, kind of, that's it. They are unlawful. Now, as we all know, right, our club has not spent since we brought in Alexander Isak. We have acquired others, but they were, let's be honest, they weren't going to break the bank. And one thing I'll say to you is this, right? There are clubs in the Premier League. One of those clubs we're going to face tomorrow. Now, take Alexander Isak just as an example, right? Now, tomorrow, as I was reading in the Chronicle just 5 minutes ago, there was an article from Alan Shearer where he lined both them up. Erling Haaland of Manchester City against Alexander Isak. But I read something and honestly I thought this had been stopped. Another team had done something similar from London, the capital, Chelsea. They had signed players on 8-year contracts. Now, reading the article from the Chronicle, in that article, I'm going to post it to my Facebook because something stinks. And I mean, it stinks. Now, we've got Erling Haaland for City. We have Alexander Isak. But you look at the wages. Yeah. Look at the distance between these strikers. Now, I was just watching Chris from Evermore NUFC, so a shout out to him. And I honestly believe the same thing. Erling Haaland is on £500,000 Let that sink in. Now, Alexander Isak. Between them, at this present moment in time, is exactly 2 goals. Erling Haaland has 2 goals in this Premier League campaign more than Alexander Isak. But you look at the wage difference. Now, what you've also got to take into account is this. How big a stadium is the Etihad in Manchester? How big is it? One thing I'm going to say to you is this. It is not as big as St James's Park. So, there's a bit of a video by itself, to be absolutely blunt and honest. But I wanted to bring that into the equation. Why? Because this news which broke earlier today, which is in the Times, it's kind of threw the cat amongst the pigeons, you know. Now, these associated APT, let's leave it at that, because it gets complicated. You see, the Premier League in their mess up have more acronyms than I can even think of. And you know I'm pretty good at them. So I'm going to say this, right, at the end of the day. The hope is our club can do something. Now, point 2, private boxes. Yes, I did mention getting a private box. Courtesy of this information, Adam Pearson. Young Adam. Saw his video where he was talking about the new shirt where right here there is our special one-off for the Carabao Cup final. However, who got to Wembley first? Who was that? Well, that would be Newcastle United, because over 2 legs we beat Arsenal, 2 goals in London and 2 goals again up at St James's Park. Now, when Adam went into the club shop, which I will do on a video in the morning, because I want things to rise up for our club. But here's the thing. This new shirt, which is for the Carabao Cup final, why has it got Liverpool versus Newcastle United? Why is that? Because the way I see it is this. The semi-final over 2 legs, home and away, we played first. Now, a lot of people will turn around and say it's alphabetical. That's fine. But what you've got to understand is this. when a game is being played, it is not alphabetical. I know it's a little, it's a little argument. It is, but it's still valid because we played Arsenal, then Liverpool played Tottenham. So it should be Newcastle United v Liverpool. That's my drift. Now, another thing which Adam was on about. Apparently, at St James's Park, businesses that have a private box. Now, you get 10 people in your private box. Okay? £50,000 a season. So, we have a ballpark of 50k. Now, one thing I wanted to say to you is this, that the business ideas that I have, if those business ideas started to make money, lots of money, so that I could sign off and earn from a business, yeah, I would set aside the 50 or between 50,000 up to 100, yeah, depending on where you are in St James's Park. But I'd set that money aside so that the people who I would bring in to the box would be family and people who I wanted in there, so that they could go out and tell others. That was the plan. And this plan is longer than like when I spoke about this on Twitter. Yeah? It's longer than that because I was thinking this when I was learning to become a driving instructor. However, that's a different kettle of fish altogether. Now, private boxes, yeah, these people who have paid good money now are kicking up a stink because instead of 10 being allowed at Wembley, it's 4. And they are not happy. Now, the next part, revenue. How many times have you seen me talking about ways to generate revenue? I've done videos to Peter Silverstone. No reply. Now, in those videos, yeah, we are currently in a transition. Are we staying at St James's Park? Or are we moving into Leazes Park? We're about to find out, but here's the thing. We've had a lot of people going on about, well, we haven't been able to do this in all these transfer windows.